And we are back for the third installment of the Russia series. And this time we're heading up to Saint Petersburg, where I had 5 days, or actually 6 days of time within Saint Petersburg and some of the surrounding area. Have you guys subscribed yet? You got to subscribe. Click on that subscription bell and then click on the notification bell. That'll allow you to receive updates on any content that I put out there. So we are out for an evening walk, and the weather is really, really spotty and iffy, much like what you're going to see in this upcoming video. So there's 2 more videos to this series. There's this one, and then there's one after, and that will conclude the documentary that I had put together when I originally was there. So hope you enjoy this one. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe. Much more Russia to come. Dobre utro, America. Getting ready to start part 2 of this adventure, and it's off to St. Petersburg. I'm here at Korsky Station. I've got a train in about an hour. It's a high-speed train, and it's called Sapsan, and it supposedly hits about 175 miles per hour. So the trip is actually going to take just a little over 4 hours. Normally, it's an 8 or 9 hour train ride on normal Russian trains, but these high-speed trains that they bought a couple of years ago from Germany, actually Siemens, they've reduced the time in half. So a little bit of an interesting thing coming in this morning with my suitcase. Security flagged something metal. It looked like a souvenir, probably set it off, but I had to take some things out of my suitcase. And of course, he spoke no English, and I was not very good at understanding what he was trying to ask me. So, it was a little nerve-wracking, but you do as much as you can. You do what they ask you to do, and you figure it out. So I showed him a few things. He said okay, and that was that. So now I'm just checking to see. They haven't given me a train platform yet for which to head towards. But as just taking a look at some of the stuff here in the train station, it's pretty modern. There's a lot going on. And of course, right behind me, KFC and Pizza Hut. KFC gives McDonald's a run for its money, and in fact, I think it's preferred here in Russia. They love the chicken. So KFC is very popular. It hasn't been in the city as long as McDonald's has. In fact, I had a chance to see the very first McDonald's on Tverskaya Street, which opened in the 1980s while this was still under communist rule. And it wasn't much. I mean, it wasn't, as everything in Moscow is so grand and ornate and huge and large, this was relatively small. So I thought it was kind of interesting that there wasn't much fanfare about it, but it was very popular when it first opened up. But I think that KFC, it seems to be more popular now, and the locals really love it. So let's get settled in for this ride up to St. Petersburg. Weather's kind of iffy up there. It's on and off rain, but it does look like I'm going to get a couple of clear days towards the end of the week, so I might have to shift some things that I want to do around, do some indoor things while it's raining, and then a couple of outdoor trips I want to take. But we'll keep you posted, and have a great day. It's afternoon in St. Petersburg, Russia. I'm out doing a little bit of surveying and sightseeing initially. I didn't have much planned for today, but because of the weather, I'm trying to get maybe a few things in that I normally didn't or had planned for other times, because it's supposed to rain tomorrow and on Wednesday as well. So I had to shift some things that I want to see around a little bit based on the weather, and hopefully that will hold up pretty good. As far as the architecture and everything is, I mean, identical to Moscow. Take a look at that building behind me if you can see it, just how long it is. Let's do it this way, there we go. These are the kind of buildings that you see, how long that building is. It goes for an entire block. And so I'm just walking down. This is the main street in St. Petersburg, Nevsky Prospect, which is Nevsky Avenue. And a couple things I've noticed right off the top is there's a lot more English here. I was told that I would see a lot more English. It's much more European serving, so that's the reason for the English. The other thing that I've noticed, and I didn't say anything about it while I was in Moscow, but because I wanted to check out and see what it was like here, but I found things here, things that you would think that are generally inexpensive are extremely expensive here. But then things that you expect to be expensive are not. To give you an example, Starbucks coffee here is about $4 a cup, just for the regular coffee, not any of the fancy things that they make, just for the regular Pikes Peak. It's about $4 for a cup. And yet, I paid less than that for a 20-minute taxi ride over to the train station this morning. So I found that there's a lot of things that you would expect to be very expensive, and in a place like, like Moscow and in St. Petersburg, it's notoriously expensive, but I found things that you can actually, ways of really cutting costs that you can get around if you know what you're doing. But yeah, it's surprising me, things like that. Soda is extremely inexpensive here, Coke products especially, if you buy them from the local stores. If you buy them through the hotel or anything, they're about $4 a bottle. I was paying maybe about $1.25 for a bottle out of the store. So those are some quick observations. I'm actually taking a walk to what is kind of the main square of the city, the bronze horseman statue. I actually have a tour I'm leaving or taking tomorrow. Hopefully the rain will subside a bit, but it meets there, so I kind of wanted to get an idea of how long it was going to take me. It's probably going to take me about a 30-minute walk to get down there. Also interesting, I have a canal cruise. It's an evening drawbridge cruise that starts at 12:30 tonight, 12:30 a.m., and it's right across from the Fabergé Museum, which is the Fabergé eggs and so forth. There's a museum there. So that's kind of what's going on. It is starting to rain, so I'm going to have to break out the umbrella and cut this one short. Happy Tuesday, America. And standing at the bronze Horseman Monument, that's actually Peter the Great behind me, and getting ready to take my Saint Petersburg tour. This one's gonna spend some time in this area and then go over to the Winter Palace and the Hermitage Museum. Probably gonna visit maybe the Museum of Vodka after this one. I mean, it's the official one, not the touristy one. And I'm going to check that out. I'm going to probably do a whole day at the Hermitage Museum tomorrow. Again, it's been calling for rain, but it's holding, sprinkling here and there, but so far it's been pretty good. St. Petersburg's amazing in the sense of the buildings and the palaces that are, so many of them are just all over the place. And of course, I took a cruise, watching the drawbridge and everything, and getting a chance to go along the Neva River last night. That cruise actually left at 12:30 in the morning. You would be amazed at the number of people that were out at that time cruising the river, and I guess it's very popular. It lasted about... We've got an ambulance here. Real life doesn't take a break just because I'm here. So it was like 2 o'clock in the morning when it ended. So it was a very long day, but I got some wonderful pictures of how the city's lit up at night. I don't know how all the people feel about electricity, but the lights in this country, in fact, every building is lit up. So it would be those who don't like all that electricity and green and global warming and all that, they probably wouldn't be too happy with it over here, but it's impressive nonetheless. Thought you might find a bit of capitalism interesting, even Burger King over here, which is much more prominent in St. Petersburg than it was in Moscow. KFC was really big in Moscow. Burger King seems to be much stronger here. But basically what this is it's an advertisement for chicken nuggets, essentially. And what it shows is that you get 9 chicken nuggets for 69 rubles, and it's about $1.05, $1.10. Somewhere right around there. So they kind of do the whole discounted nuggets thing just like we do in the States, and just something I thought you might find a little interesting. Wednesday morning in St. Petersburg, a little bit past what we would consider the rush hour time, but this is Nevsky Prospect. This is the main street in the entire city, and it leads to pretty much everywhere. I'm walking now right down to going to the Hermitage Museum today, and looking forward to that. It's actually the second largest museum in the world, only behind the Louvre, and that is in terms of square footage of the facility. Having been to the Louvre a couple of times and been somewhat disappointed in it, I'm not sure what to think here, but looking forward to going in and checking this place out. Again, works by famous painters, sculptors, everything as well. This yellow building is like it's like a shopping mall almost, with a lot of different stores, 2 levels. I'm not quite sure the actual name of it. Weather-wise, things have been holding up. It's been a little bit damp. But it's not raining right now, so I'm grateful for that. And we're just going to keep on walking. I probably have about another 30-minute walk until I make it down to the Palace Square, where the Winter Palace and the Hermitage Museum are. So I'm going to keep going. Up on the left coming up, there's a metro station, and I actually chose to do St. Petersburg by foot. I mean, the metro here is pretty efficient as well. It's not nearly the size of the one that's in Moscow, but I just didn't want to get into learning Cyrillic stations again and trying to get things going. So I decided to do all of this on foot, which has been very, very helpful. I want to catch this light and go across it. As you can see, the streets are pretty large here. And the crossings sometimes can be 2 to 3 minutes, in terms of waiting for a red light to give you the go-ahead to walk across. So if you can catch one when it's green, that's really the best way to do it. But let's see if there's anything else we can spy in here. There's a McDonald's. Very modern, very clean. Architecture in the entire country is just phenomenal. I don't think I've experienced anything quite like it. So we'll catch up later. This is actually Palace Square. This is where the Hermitage and the Winter Palace are actually located. Just to give you an example of how vast this is. This is the entrance to the Winter Palace. Looks like we've got a queue already for people lined up to get in. It opens in about 10 minutes or so. That gives you a little better look, I think. This is just huge. And then just behind these trees here, you can't see them, but it's actually where the Neva River is. So a lot of the boat tours and everything that go along there actually depart from. I'm going to be hitting there tomorrow when I take one of the hydrofoils out to Peterhof Palace, which is about a 40-minute ride out through the Gulf of Finland. Just gives you an idea of how massive this whole complex is. So let's go ahead and get our tickets, and I guess we're going to need to stand in line. So away we go. We took a break from the Hermitage Museum to come down to the embankment, and what you're looking at out there in the big yellow building, that's actually the Peter and Paul Fortress. And it just so happens that every day at 12 noon, the cannon fires a shot, and just symbolizing that the fortress is still being protected. So every day at 12 o'clock, there's one cannon shot that actually gets set off. They don't use a cannonball, but it's gunpowder, and actually you can feel it. And it just so happens it's about a minute or so, minute and a half to 12 noon. So I thought I'd get a video of this actually taking place. I learned about this yesterday when we did a tour. And as you can see, the Winter Palace is right there. That's the museum and so forth. So it's just across the street. I spent about an hour in there looking at a lot of sculpture work and impression work. Just thought I'd get some fresh air now. It's the sun's popped out. It's actually turned out to be a decent day, but it is brisk. Of course, being by the water doesn't make it any better, but as you can see, when the sun's out, I mean, it really shines on the city, and this city is all about water. So let's see if we can catch the cannon fire off here. Just an amazing display of architecture. There we go! And that's it. A lot of drama and fanfare for not much, but we saw it happen live in St. Petersburg.